All set.
You got more room over here. Come on in. We got some seats over here, some chairs over here. If the press doesn't use them, we can. Come on.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's 3 chairs up here.
Yeah, there's some more chairs up here. There's some over here.
There's 3 chairs up here.
We want everybody at least be able to get in the room. Okay.
Go ahead.
We're all ready.
Yep, we're ready. He'll be up.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank all of you for joining us on this special day, November 5th, 2012, day before the election. We have some good economic development news to talk about this morning for small business. It's my pleasure to officially launch the iasourcelink.com today. This is a statewide resource and economic development tool for entrepreneurs and small businesses across Iowa, and for those who are considering locating in Iowa as their business location. When Lieutenant Governor Reynolds and I set forth our aggressive agenda and our goal of 200,000 new jobs and raising family incomes by 25%, it was obvious that Iowa's small businesses would be play an integral role in achieving this ambitious goal. Small businesses are the backbone of our state's economy, accounting for 51.8% of all private sector jobs. Continued support for and a renewed focus on identifying the state's role in advancing small business is necessary not only to reach our goals, but also to improve Iowa's position for entrepreneurial development and innovation. In addition, House File 590, passed by the 2011 session of the Iowa Legislature, directs the Iowa Economic Development Authority to provide assistance and dedicated resources that serve the small business community. As part of the Iowa Economic Development Authority continuing work with existing small business in the state and its efforts to support the creation of more small businesses, the Iowa Economic Development Authority has been working with an ad hoc advisory committee to determine ways to further improve the environment for entrepreneurship and obtain invaluable insight on how to best meet the needs of small business. One of the committee's recommendations was to improve access to the many resources that are available to small business owners but are sometimes difficult to locate. In establishing IA SourceLink, the Iowa Economic Development Authority has joined US SourceLink, America's largest resource network for entrepreneurs and small businesses, developed by the Kauffman Foundation for Entrepreneurship. I want to ask Lieutenant Governor Reynolds to share some of the details of what this new site will offer for Iowa entrepreneurs. Lieutenant Governor Reynolds.
Thank you, Governor Branstad, and good morning. iasourcelink.com is a web-based platform which will enable entrepreneur and small businesses to be connected efficiently and effectively to technical and financial resources for their specific business needs. A customer that's desiring additional support may request assistance through the website or through a toll-free number. Through IA SourceLink, Iowans seeking to start or expand a business will have a simple, streamlined entry into the outstanding small business and entrepreneurial organizations and assets that best meet their needs. In addition, IA SourceLink, in partnership with the University of Northern Iowa, My Entrepreneur, will provide timely, expert webinars, blogs, and resource pages identified to Iowa small businesses. Entrepreneurial and small business resource organizations will also be marketed to their target customer base through IA SourceLink's Resource Navigator and statewide calendar, which will enable organizations to promote and publicize their workshops, conferences, as well as their seminars. Moving forward, the Iowa Economic Development Authority will continue to collaborate with MyEntrenet to make IA SourceLink Iowa's premier source of connection to entrepreneurial and small business resources and expertise. It's my pleasure now to introduce to you Kevin Lentz, who is the chair of the Ad Hoc Small Business Advisory Committee that the governor mentioned. And Kevin is a successful small business owner himself and has been an invaluable part of the team that has put together this great resource. And Kevin, if you would join us at the podium and please share your thoughts, we appreciate it.
Well, good morning, everybody. As a small business owner myself, I can tell you that 14 years ago, I would have loved to have had a tool like Iowa SourceLink available to myself. I started, like a lot of small businesses do, with someone recommending a lawyer, someone recommending an accountant, and ultimately someone recommending a banker. As we begin our journey and looking at the resources that are out there, there's no doubt there's over 300 tax-supported agencies right now all around our state that are all prepared and willing to provide resource to startups and existing businesses like myself. The challenge is navigating that entire network, as we've kind of affectionately called the ecosystem, and try to really make sure that we can align the resources that are out there with the needs and all the assistance that is today's economy. So I can tell you that we're really, really excited. Our efforts have led us to the partnership with US SourceLink. We also, as our committee, made sure that we were not just reinventing another tool and add more chaos to what was already out there. We've aligned our efforts with the Greater One Partnership, which launched a similar effort called Central Iowa SourceLink. So we think that we're in good position with our partnership with MyEntrenet and making sure that we also are going to make sure that we provide all the best tools, all the best resources, and make sure that the service providers can get that resource and that help to the people that need it, not only for startups, for existing businesses. And one thing I'll tell you before I close is that our eye was always on the prize. And I think if you look through and read about the mortality rate of small businesses that start up, about 1 in 2 fail. So really, that's been our overriding goal, is not only to improve the number of startups, but really improve the success rate for businesses throughout our communities and in the state of Iowa. So we're excited about today, and this is a really important day for us, and for small businesses and startups, I would say help is on the way. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, as you can see by the turnout here today, there's a broad base of both government agencies, community colleges, local economic development groups, and all working together on this project. So we're excited about it. We think it's going to make a difference. We think small business, obviously, not only getting started, but as Kevin mentioned, surviving in those early years is a challenge. And whatever we can do to help try to reduce some of the regulatory and tax burdens that make it more difficult, we're going to be working on. With that, we'll open to your questions.
Kevin, is your last name L-E-N-T-Z?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are you from?
My offices are in West Des Moines.
And
what
what's
is
the name of your
Performance marketing.
Performance marketing? Okay, and you are the
President. Owner.
That statistic for 1 in 2 businesses fail, where does that statistic come from, and is that an Iowa statistic, is that nationwide? What's the?
I think that's a national statistic.
Yes.
Kevin, you want to, you said it, so
Yeah,
we'll.
the SBA.
I answer a lot of tough ones.
I can tell you through my volunteer efforts, I'm getting a little bit of a civics lesson here.
Yeah.
A little bit different than we do in performance marketing every day. But my good friend Joe Folsom, who works with the SBA, could support this better than I can. But the statistics really have never really changed over the last decade or so. Is that unfortunately about 1 out of every 2 small businesses fail for a lot of reasons. Some of them being capital, some of them being just mismanagement, poor business plan. There's a lot of reasons to contribute to it, but unfortunately the numbers held pretty steady. And that number really comes from the SBA numbers nationwide, so that's where that number comes from.
Thank you. Other questions? Yes.
I looked at the site this morning, and your Business Navigator site is very cool, as well as the notices of events going on. Is there an alert feature that if there's a new event added, that we can request that it be sent to our computer as an
We have
alert?
some techie that can help me answer.
I wasn't looking at you.
Probably no.
we have a
Jeremy,
We have a newsletter actually that goes out.
Come up here. Come up here.
Oh, no.
It's all right. Identify yourself.
Rob Williams with the University of Northern Iowa and partner here at IA SourceLink. We do have a newsletter actually that's going to be going out. I'm not sure who asked that question. But
Yeah, Rod Denson.
Um,
sent an email.
Oh, okay, yep. We have a newsletter actually that will go out twice a month. So just by signing up for the alerts and stuff, with your email address, you'll receive that newsletter. And it'll contain all the updates and things that you have going on.
So there's no RSS feed?
There is RSS functionality within the blogs. So you can actually, I believe, and Jeremy, yep.
You want to come up here?
Anyone
It's great to
else like to join us this morning? Yeah.
Jeremy Higley with US SourceLink. We're the group that originally developed this with the funding of the Kauffman Foundation. There is potential for an RSS feed, and some of our SourceLink affiliates, I believe our New Orleans SourceLink affiliate has an RSS feed, so as events are added to the calendar, those can get pushed out. So I would say that's something that can be added to the site probably within the next couple of weeks. I don't think it's up there today.
Since it's a .com, US SourceLink, a lot of .coms like to make money. Is there any money to be made by the host?
So there can be. We're actually a nonprofit organization. We're a program at the University of Missouri in Kansas City. We initially went with .com because when we started this 9 years ago, .com was seen in the business community as more trustworthy than government nonprofit when it came to business resources. That's kind of changed over the years, but we didn't feel like changing our .com to .org just because of that. Most of the groups that we work with, a lot of the groups we work with, do develop sponsorship programs, and so they are able to bring in some earned revenue through the local business community who's wishing to reach out and advertise and work with small business such as banks, attorneys, and those sorts of groups.
But there's no pay to play to be on the site?
No, and it's intentional because really at the end of the day, the product offering to the small business community is the network of resource partners. And those connections, they're typically government programs, nonprofits, and so it would be nice to get money from them, but those are groups that typically don't have money to market anyway.
Is there going to be an app function for the iPhone or Android?
It's a great question. We've looked a lot into that, and we're open to comments and thoughts on what that should be. That being said, the website is pretty mobile friendly, so you should be able to go in and see the calendar and do searches on the navigator just on the actual website itself.
I gotta say, I'm impressed with the technical question. Are there other questions? Okay, if there are other issues you'd like to talk about, we'll be glad to respond to those as well.
Governor, I assume that the new Director of Public Safety kept you informed about the shakeups at the staff over there. Could you explain to Iowans why that's necessary?
Well, first of all, we chose Brian London after doing a nationwide search to try to get the best Director of Public Safety for the state. He comes with a wonderful, varied background, has a great track record. He's everywhere. I think he started out in the California Highway Patrol. He was with Interpol in Europe. He just recently was a Deputy Public Safety Commissioner in Florida. I'm one that doesn't believe in micromanaging agencies. And so we asked him to look at what he thought was the best way to organize the Department of Public Safety. And so I have confidence that the decisions he's making make sense to protect the safety of the citizens of Iowa. And so we've been informed as to the changes he wanted to make, and we're certainly, we've signed off on them. But my approach has always been not to micromanage agencies, to try to choose the very best people and give them the authority to do the job. And I have confidence in Brian London. I think he'll do a great job, and I think he's putting together a real strong public safety team.
Has he indicated to you that he's going to bring in some of his own people, or that he's dissatisfied with some
No,
of his
I think it's primarily what he's done. He's made some changes in the structure and makeup. The previous director had a different approach, and I understand that. But I think the previous director, who I had great confidence in and I think did a great job, but now that Brian is in charge, This is the structure and the key people that he feels confident should be in those leadership positions. You know, you want to have the right people on the bus and you want to have them in the right seats. And I think that's what he's trying to do with the Department of Public Safety, and I have confidence in that, just as Paul Trevino has made changes over in the Department of Transportation that I think have been very positive. I'm confident he'll do the same thing with public safety.
A recent review of state salaries found that there's still a pay equity issue for women, that women who hold positions are still paid less than men who hold the same positions. Are you disappointed that over your tenure as governor that issue hasn't been fixed?
Well, I think that's something we want to continue to look at and work on. I've chosen a number of women for key positions in leadership positions in state government, things like Department of Public Health and agencies like that. And I guess I would be interested in taking a look at that to see if there's other adjustments or changes that we need to make. To some degree, in terms of the top positions, the legislature sets the salary range, and then the governor has authority to set the salaries within those ranges. But, you know, I think we need to look at the whole salary structure in state government. As you know, there's been a recent study done on that as well. And we want to make sure that we're fair, we're competitive, and that we look at how we can effectively compete with the other states and also with the private sector.
You had a chance to sort of analyze the Department of Administrative Services report. What did you take away from it as far as salaries, and what will you do with it from now on?
Well, I think it gives the public, I think, another viewpoint on the whole salary structure in our state. You know, you have the Public Policy Institute down in Mount Pleasant, and then you have this liberal group out of Iowa City, and they both have their, one group says Iowa has the highest public employee salaries vis-a-vis all of the other 49 states. And the other one says, no, our salaries are below. So you got wide variance there. So we look to an outside objective group that would come in and compare us to the other states, both public and private sector. So now we've got 3 different viewpoints, and I think that'll give us, and I think we need to review and analyze and determine what makes the most sense and how we can be competitive, but also fair to our employees in the process. And obviously that information, I think, will just increase our chances of making the best and most informed decisions when it comes to setting salaries and also negotiating them through the collective bargaining process.
Thank you, Governor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming.